Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. I'm so happy you're joining us today. Whether this is your first time here or you've been with us for a while, we're really glad you came. Today's topic is something every English learner needs to hear, so make sure you stick around until the end.
Hey there, everyone. Great to be back. I have to say, I'm feeling extra excited today because this topic is something I personally struggled with when I was learning. So I really hope it helps you the same way it helped me. And honestly, even fluent speakers can learn something from today's conversation.
That's so true. I was talking to a friend the other day who has been studying English for 3 years, and she said, I know so much grammar, but I still can't just talk. And I thought, wow, that is exactly what we need to talk about today. That feeling is so common, and there's a real reason behind it.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about what's actually holding back your English. Not your vocabulary, not your grammar. We're going to look at the real things, the habits, the fears, the little mistakes that quietly stop you from making progress. This is going to be an honest, friendly conversation, and we think it will change the way you think about learning.
By the end of today's episode, you're going to understand what's really stopping you, and more importantly, you're going to have real, simple ways to fix it. We'll talk about 3 big blockers, common mistakes, and we'll do some practice together too. So get comfortable, maybe grab a coffee, and let's do this together.
Before we jump in, we'd love to hear from you. Write in the comments, what do you think is holding back your English right now? Is it speaking? Is it understanding fast speakers? Is it just feeling too nervous? Tell us. We read every single comment and we love hearing from you.
And if you haven't subscribed to Simple English Talks yet, now is the perfect time. Just hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We post new conversations regularly, and every single one is designed to help your English grow in a natural way. Now, let's get into it.
All right, let's start with the first big thing that holds people back. And this one might surprise you. It's not what most people expect.
So, the first blocker we want to talk about is fear. Specifically, the fear of making mistakes. This is honestly the number one thing I see holding learners back. They know the words, they understand the grammar, but when it's time to actually speak or write, they freeze. They think, what if I say it wrong? What if people laugh at me? And so they stay silent.
Oh, I know that feeling so well. When I was learning, I used to rehearse sentences in my head for minutes before saying them out loud. And sometimes, by the time I was ready, the moment had passed. The conversation had moved on. Has that ever happened to you? Write in the comments if you felt this way. I bet a lot of you have.
It's so common. And here's the thing. Mistakes are not the enemy. Mistakes are actually how you learn. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall down hundreds of times. They don't stop and say, oh no, I fell again, I'm terrible at walking. They just get up and try again. Language learning is the same. You have to be willing to fall a little.
Exactly. And let me give you some real examples. Let's say you want to say, I am very hungry. Maybe you accidentally say, I am very hunger. That's a small mistake, but the person you're talking to will absolutely understand you. Communication happened. That's the goal. The goal isn't perfection, it's connection.
Right. And here's a simple formula to remember. Think of it this way. Meaning first, form second. What I mean is, focus on getting your idea across first. Then, over time, with practice, the correct form will come naturally. If you always wait until your English is perfect to speak, you'll wait forever. Perfect English comes from speaking imperfect English a lot.
Let's try a quick practice right now. I want you to say this sentence out loud. Don't just read it in your head, actually say it. I'm learning English, and I'm proud of myself. Go ahead, say it. How did that feel? Now say it again, but this time smile while you say it. Notice how it feels different when you say it with confidence.
So to beat the fear of mistakes, here are 3 simple steps. First, give yourself permission to be wrong. Say to yourself, it's okay if I make a mistake. It means I'm trying. Second, speak a little every single day, even if it's just talking to yourself in the mirror. Third, when you make a mistake, don't stop. Just keep going. Fluent speakers make mistakes all the time. They just don't let it stop them.
And here's something encouraging. Most native speakers are not judging your English. They're just happy you're trying to communicate with them. People appreciate the effort. They really do. So the next time fear shows up, just remember, you're not being graded. You're having a conversation. And conversations are allowed to be messy and imperfect and real.
Tell us in the comments. Have you ever been too scared to speak English, even though you knew what you wanted to say? We want to hear your honest stories. You're not alone in this, and sharing it might help someone else who's reading.
Great. So the first blocker is fear of mistakes. Remember, mistakes are your teachers, not your enemies. Speak anyway. Now let's move on to the second thing that's holding your English back. And this one is about something many learners do every single day without realizing it's a problem.
All right, the second big blocker is this. Too many learners study English instead of living it. What do I mean? I mean they spend hours reading grammar books, doing exercises, watching grammar videos, and that's all great. But then they close the book, put away the notebook, and go back to their normal life completely in their first language. English stops the moment studying stops.
Oh, this is such a real problem. I used to do this too. I'd study for 2 hours and feel so productive. But then I'd realize I'd spent those 2 hours reading about English rather than actually using English. There's a big difference. Reading about how to swim and actually jumping in the water are two very different things.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Your brain learns language through repetition and real use. When you study grammar rules, you're using the logical part of your brain. But when you actually use English to do something real, to order food, to chat online, to describe your day, you're training a completely different part of your brain. You're building fluency, not just knowledge.
So let me give you some real-life ways to live your English every day. In the morning, when you wake up, think in English. Don't translate, just think directly. You can say to yourself, "Good morning. Today is a busy day. I need to drink my coffee." It sounds simple, but it's powerful. You're making English a part of your daily mental life.
Another idea, change something in your phone or your computer to English. Your alarm labels, your notes app, your reminders. When you write a shopping list, write it in English. When you're cooking and you want to describe what you're doing, say it out loud in English. I'm cutting the vegetables. I'm adding some salt. It smells really good. This is living your English.
Now let's compare two types of learners. Learner A studies grammar for 1 hour every day and then uses their first language for everything else. Learner B studies for 30 minutes a day, but then tries to use English for small things throughout the day. Texting a friend in English, reading a news headline in English, watching a short video in English. Which learner do you think improves faster?
Learner B every time. Because English isn't just a subject, it's a skill. And skills grow through use, not just through study. Think about learning to drive a car. You can read the manual as many times as you want, but you only learn to actually drive by sitting in the car and driving. English is the same. You have to get in the car.
Here are 3 specific tips. First, find an English activity you genuinely enjoy. Maybe it's watching a TV show, listening to a podcast, playing an online game in English, or reading about a hobby you love. If you enjoy it, you'll do it more. Second, try to think in English for just 5 minutes a day. Narrate what you're doing out loud or in your head. Third, find a speaking partner, online communities, language exchange apps, or even just a friend who's also learning.
And I want to ask you something. Right now, how much time do you spend using English outside of studying? Is it 0? Is it a little? Write in the comments. Tell us what you do to practice English outside of class or study time. We'd love to hear your habits and share them with other listeners.
Wonderful. So the second big blocker is treating English like a subject to study rather than a language to live. The fix is simple. Find small, enjoyable ways to bring English into your daily life. Now, let's talk about the third blocker. And this one is about something that happens inside your mind every time you try to speak.
The third big thing holding back your English is what I call the comparison trap. This is when you look at someone else, a more advanced learner, a native speaker, even a character from a TV show, and you think, my English is so bad compared to theirs. And suddenly you feel discouraged, even though you've actually made so much progress. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine two people running a race, but they started at different times, on different paths, with different shoes. It makes no sense to compare their positions on the track, right? Language learning is the same. Everyone starts from a different place. Everyone has different amounts of time to study. Everyone has a different mother tongue, which might be closer to or further from English.
For example, a Spanish speaker learning English might find it easier in some ways because Spanish and English share a lot of vocabulary. Words like animal, natural, important are similar. But a speaker of Japanese or Arabic is starting from a very different place. So comparing their speed or fluency makes no sense at all. You are running your own race, and that's the only race that matters.
So here's what I want you to do instead of comparing yourself to others. Compare yourself to the version of you from 6 months ago. Ask yourself, can I understand more now than I could then? Can I say more things? Do I feel more comfortable? If the answer is yes, even a little yes, then you are succeeding. Progress is progress, no matter how small it looks.
I'd like to do a little practice with you right now. I want you to say this sentence out loud. I am getting better at English every day. Say it like you mean it. Now think of one specific thing you can do now that you couldn't do when you first started learning. Maybe you can watch a video without subtitles sometimes. Maybe you can understand a joke in English. Maybe you just feel less scared to try. That's real progress.
Here's a tip about tone and confidence. When you speak English, even if you're not sure, try to sound confident. Stand up straight or sit up tall. Speak at a normal volume. Don't apologize before you speak by saying, "Sorry, my English is not good." Just speak. Confidence actually helps your brain access language more easily. It's not fake. It becomes real over time.
And remember, even native speakers have moments when they can't find the right word, when they mispronounce something, when they get confused mid-sentence. Language is human, and humans are imperfect. The goal is not to speak like a robot or a textbook. The goal is to communicate, to connect, to share ideas. And you can absolutely do that at any level of English.
Tell us in the comments, who do you sometimes compare yourself to when learning English? A celebrity? A classmate? A character from a TV show? And how does that make you feel? Sharing this can help you let it go, and it might help someone else who's reading too.
Perfect. So the third blocker is the comparison trap. Your only competition is yesterday's version of you. Keep your eyes on your own journey. Now, let's talk about some very common mistakes that hold learners back. And these are mistakes that even confident learners make.
Okay, let's talk about common mistakes. And I want to say right away, I've made all of these mistakes. We both have. So this isn't about judging anyone. This is about spotting the habits that quietly slow down your progress, understanding why they happen, and then making small changes that make a big difference. Ready?
Ready. Let's start with mistake number 1. Translating word by word in your head. This is when someone thinks in their first language and then translates each word into English before speaking. The result sounds unnatural, and it's also very slow. For example, in some languages, you might say the equivalent of, I have hunger. But in English, the natural way is, I'm hungry. If you translate directly, you get the wrong result.
Why does this happen? Because when we're beginners, translation feels safe. But as you improve, you need to start thinking in English chunks, not individual words. Instead of thinking, Hungry equals word for hungry in my language. Start remembering I'm hungry as a complete phrase. Learn expressions as whole units, not word by word. This is actually how native speakers store language in their brains.
Mistake number 2. Only practicing alone and never with real people. I know this feels safer. Talking to yourself or doing exercises in a workbook means nobody can judge you. But language exists to connect people, and you absolutely need real interaction to grow. Even simple conversations with a shopkeeper, a language exchange partner, a classmate build skills that no amount of solo study can replace.
Mistake number 3. Waiting until you feel ready to speak. Here's a little secret. You will never feel completely ready. Fluency doesn't come before speaking, it comes from speaking. The moment you start talking, even imperfectly, you're already building fluency. Waiting for readiness is like waiting to swim until you know how to swim without getting wet. It doesn't work that way.